Hey guys, my name is Jeremiah Johnson. I am a pastor and a podcaster. I have a couple podcasts called the Grace Point Daily Podcast along with Modern Christian Dads. And so I thought I would review some of the gear that I use to do my podcast. Today I'm going to do an unboxing and a review of the Behrigner C-1 microphone. So let's check it out. I am now personally over the 100 episode mark for my podcast. So I am a beginner to intermediate, almost an intermediate now in terms of podcasting. And so like anyone, I'm sure I started out with a lot of cheap gear. I first started out with, I'm going to show you some of these mics, the Tonar microphone. This is like a $30 microphone that you can get off Amazon. If you search condenser microphone, most likely you will pull up the Tonar microphone. Will be one of the first ones that you pull up. It's a great microphone. It is $30 to $35. I'm not gonna probably put the links below because I don't have an Amazon affiliate account or anything like that. But anyway, it was a good microphone. It sounds pretty good. I thought it sounded pretty good overall, but then you realize as you begin to get into it, you start listening to other podcasts, and as you get a little bit better gear, you realize it's not a horrible mic, but it's not a great mic either. So anyway, if you want to get in the game at a very entry level, I do recommend this microphone. It is very good. Along with that, there is another brand called the Zingao, maybe if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But anyway, this is basically the same mic, probably produced by the same company or factory with a little bit different packaging. Once again, this is like $30 to $35 with a boom stand and the mic. Again, I think this one sounds a little bit not as good as the Tonar microphone, and these are very entry-level condenser microphones. $30 to $35, you get the complete package with the mic, a cord, and a boom arm. So they're definitely good at an entry level, but then as you begin to grow, you realize, man, I want to up my game a little bit, and I want to sound better. And so then I'm going to encourage a couple of other mics for you, and most specifically talk about the Behrigner C-1. Alright, so before we unbox and give a quick review of the Behrigner C-1 microphone, I do want to recommend one other microphone called the Rockville condenser mic. It's the RMC03, I guess. This is a microphone that's about between $50 to $60 on Amazon. I never hear anyone talk about this microphone. I will review this one further, but I think if you're going from the Tonar to the next level, this is a great microphone to purchase and to buy, and has a great high quality sound. So I never see anyone review this or talk about this, but I do want to encourage and strongly recommend this Rockville as well. This is currently what I'm using right now. This is about a $50 to $60 condenser mic. So with that in mind, let's unbox the Behrigner C-1. All right, so here we go, Behrigner C-1. What's funny is I actually purchased two of these, so I already opened up one of them, but I'm going to open this up now so you can see. So obviously you get the box, and within the box you have another small plastic case, which can be useful or not really useful. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I have a bunch of cases laying around that I never use. So here we go. Within the case you have the microphone, you have the microphone adapter for a boom arm, and then you have the microphone holder. Now, the first thing I'm going to say, which is kind of negative, is that when I opened the first Behrigner C-1 that I purchased, I dropped it, and you can see that that little plastic mount that goes on here is now broken. I Googled on Amazon to find a replacement, and I can't. So that is one negative right off the bat, that this little mount that they have that comes with it, that is kind of built into it and seems to be necessary, broke right away. Now I do have a shock mount that I was able to jam it in and use it at my desk studio. So anyway, so here we go. We have the C-1. Again, pretty simple packaging, microphone stand in the mount with some instructions or paperwork inside of that. But what I like about the microphone is that it is very well built, feels very solid, has a good amount of weight to it. When you compare it to the Tonar, significant difference in weight. So you can clearly tell that the C-1 is much more beefy, probably more high quality, etc., etc. So very nice weight to it. I like that there are no buttons on it. There's no switches or anything like that. The only thing that you will see is when you plug it in, you do need phantom power for this, 48 volts. When you do plug it in, like I have a Scarlett Studio, I also have a Behrigner audio interface, you will see that this lights up red, signifying that it is on and that it is working. So I like that. I don't like the mics that have all the little switches, low end switches. I know that gives you more options, but I just like simplicity. I like that. It's just a nice, beefy, seemingly high quality mic that you can just plug in and go right away. Now I forgot to mention that I am recording this on a newer boom mic. So this is not, the audio you're hearing right now is not audio from the Behrigner C-1. So I am just going to play roughly 1 minute of audio how I would record my podcast. So it's going into a Scarlett Studio USB audio interface. I'm recording on GarageBand, and I'm really not doing much with EQs on the microphone. There's a little bit of compression, but roughly how you're going to hear it sound in the next minute is about how my podcast would sound if you listen to Grace Point Daily or Modern Christian Dads. So here's a little bit of audio and what it would sound like in real life. Hey guys, welcome into the Grace Point Daily podcast. My name is Jeremiah Johnson, and I'm going to do a quick little review on the Behrigner C1 microphone. I am a podcaster. I've done about 100 episodes, a little over 100 episodes now, so I'm getting a little bit more and more familiar with the podcast game. Like a lot of people, I started off cheap. I started with a Tonar condenser microphone, which is a good little mic, but very cheap. And as I've moved up in gear a little bit, you can see that compared to other mics with a little bit better quality, not as good as sounding. So as I'm getting more experience, I'm trying to up my game, up my gear a little bit more. So I thought I'd try the Behrigner C1 microphone. So you're listening to it pretty much as it sounds. There's no pop filter on this. Not putting really any effects on there, just a small amount of compression. And this is about what I would sound like when I would upload it and put it on the Anchor platform. So this is the sound of the Behrigner C1 microphone. Hope you enjoy it. Think about purchasing it. If you're a podcaster, I think it sounds pretty good overall. Well, what did you think of the sound? Keep in mind that I'm talking about the Behrigner C1 purely from a podcasting perspective. Now, there are probably better podcasting mics. If I just wanted an exclusive podcast mic, the only reason I like having condenser microphones with other uses is that I do record some music and do some of those other things. I podcast the most, but I did want some versatility. So I know that I can use the C1 for vocals or guitars, or there's multiple uses that I can have for it outside of just of vocal podcasting. So all in all, $50, I think it's a very solid mic. You can find other reviews and people that would probably say the same thing, but I'm just giving you my take on it, and I gave you a piece of my sound. So anyway, I recommend thinking about using the Behrigner C1 for podcasting. For other uses, I'm not for sure. That's for other people to determine. So anyway, I hope that you can check out the Grace Point Daily podcast, the Modern Christian Dad podcast, and I encourage you guys to dive into podcasting. It's a lot of fun. So we'll talk to you next time.